Hi, Mark here. It's Tuesday, November the 18th, going on 12 midday Eastern Time. That's going on 5 p.m. GMT, going into the afternoon portion of the US session. Let's have a look how the US dollar is performing. Starting on the index, you can see a green candlestick, third consecutive higher high, higher low. I've got support at 99.28. I've got resistance at 99.56. And for now, hang around this resistance area and buyers will look to see if they can get to this ascending trend line, which it broke below last week, and see if buyers can get back above this and uh, resume the uptrend. But for now, downtrend still in place. EMA is pointing lower, you can see that. And although we have a green candlestick, it certainly has come down off that resistance, maybe a turnaround from strong US dollar to weak US dollar during the afternoon portion. And we have seen that turnaround come in the afternoon portion of the US session over the past few weeks. Let's have a look how the majors are performing, starting with the euro against the US. There you can see the red candlestick. Last 3 days, lower highs, lower lows. I've got support at 115.71. I've got resistance at 116.06. But you do see here a small wick, meaning a bounce up of this support level. That would be buying euro, selling US dollar. So from strong US to weak US, we'll see whether that does materialize and whether buyers can get back up to this resistance level, or if we see a continuation of strong US dollar and prices maintain at this support area, perhaps even a test lower. Let's have a look at the pound against the US. Here we see even more of a bounce than we saw on the euro. Look at the wick that we see here. Not much of a red body left anymore. The red body being selling pound, buying US dollar strength, like we saw on the index. I've got support at 131.33, and I've got resistance at 131.75. It's a narrow range, and the range has been narrowing over the past few days, possibly leading to a breakout in either direction. Buyers of pound, sellers of US bounced up off the support area and now looking up at perhaps that resistance at the 131.78 with a turnaround in the US session. Let's have a look at the US against the yen. US has been really strong again, strong US against the weak yen, and you can see that playing out today. I've got support at 154.79. I've got resistance at 155.50, and buyers now sitting at that resistance level, looking for a push higher. Also, a little bit wary about the talk of intervention that we've heard from the Bank of Japan, and that might just scare off buyers to go higher than the current level at the 155.50. But for now, US dollar strength all the way. Yen has not been able to fight back. If there is going to be a fight back, a pullback, a retracement, the sellers will be looking at this 154.79, and buyers, of course, looking at this resistance level for now, and at the moment, no fight back from the yen. Let's have a look at the US Canadian. Certainly a very different picture, and the outlier. We saw a strong US dollar on the index, on the euro and the pound, although both the euro and pound are attempting a fight back. Very strong US dollar against the yen. And here in the Canadian, we're seeing red candlestick that's selling US, buying Canadian. Canadian really strong against the yen this morning, testing this support level at 139.94. That's the 140 level. See if sellers can test and break below that level, or if US dollar buyers step in and bounce up of this level. I've got resistance 140.60 and support just below that 140. That's a 60 pip move at this stage, which is roughly the average true range we've seen recently on this pair. We'll see in the US in the afternoon portion whether this can be maintained or if we get a bounce up of this level. We've got resistance, support levels to work with, strong US dollar pretty much across the board, aside from the US Canadian, levels to work with, and I will see you at the end of day session. Good trading.